Hello, everyone. A very good morning to you if you are in Europe, together with our speakers for today, and a very good afternoon to you if you are with us in Asia. So today we are really excited to begin another session on learning about AI for our school collaboration and faculty collaboration project on learning about AI and learning with AI. Today, the topic is quite important for all of you. If you are a teacher trainer, a school leader, teachers, it's important to know what kind of foundations and frameworks are there, what kind of competencies teachers need to build. So for that reason, we are covering foundations and frameworks on AI competencies for teachers in today's session. First of all, some quick notes on the session. As usual, we'll have presentations by our speakers, then we will have a question and answer session, and then we will end today's session with summary and recap as we are closing the learning about AI segment today. And then, of course, we will tell you what to expect next. And as usual, please, during the session, mute yourself and unmute when you are required to speak. And you can engage as usual using the chat box actively as you have been doing. Some of you have been asking questions about PPTs and recordings and team. So please, for those of you school collaboration participants for the full program, please check your e-learning platform regularly. And those of you who are only participating in the self-learning, you will receive 2 emails from us, one at the end of this week and one after 2 weeks later when the self-learning phase is over. And for the faculty collaboration participants, we'll be also sending you from time to time key email updates where we'll be having all the resources attached. With that, let me please warmly invite our speaker for today, Ms. Lidija KRALJ. She's an international education analyst and currently works at EduConLK in Croatia. She has 30 years of experience, both as an education advisor and analyst, as well as a teacher and teacher trainer, like some of you. And some of her notable work is with UNESCO, Council of Europe, and also with Ministry of Science and Education in Croatia. Currently, she's working with the Council of Europe as part of the European Commission as an expert for artificial intelligence and data. She's also the leader of the AI in Education Squad. So without further ado, let's invite Ms. Lidija KRALJ to present her views on foundations and frameworks on AI competencies for teachers. Lidija, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Jyoti, and nice to meet all of you virtually from all over the world. Let me start sharing my screen. And now you could see my presentation. Is everything okay? Yeah. Okay. So today we will talk about some things you already know. Maybe we'll discover together some things you were not aware, or some other things you would like to know more about it. So when we talk about AI implication for education, we are talking about using it to support a learning process. So through adaptivity, through automatic feedbacks, using different intelligent adaptive platforms. We're also talking about teaching about the AI, ethical implications, but also we talk about the impact of the whole education system and how does AI push us towards some changes or make some changes possible in our lifetime, in our everyday work. As a beginning of this presentation, I will lead you through several already existing frameworks. Probably you used most of them, but just to be aware where the AI competency sits in those frameworks as well. So EduCoLK, one of the first framework about the competencies for teachers and educators, originate from 2017, talk about several areas focusing on creation and use of digital resources, then planning different devices, different softwares to use as a part of a teaching process and to raise the effectiveness of teaching interventions. Then they talk about competencies in the assessment area, so use of digital technologies for formative or summative assessment, provide feedback, and also using some kind of dashboard to monitor students' progress. Also supporting learners through their process of learning, and also supporting them to acquire and create a successful level of their digital competences. On the base of DigiComp, there was Selfie for Teachers, a self-assessment tool which is created for teachers and later on for the schools as well. And a Selfie for Teacher is a little bit more flexible. In 2022, they already in their questionnaire put some questions which talk about the use of AI. So awareness of the existing technologies, addressing the position of the students when we are using or when they are interacting with the AI, of course, addressing questions about datafication, privacy, and decisions that maybe AI made or is going to make instead of us. Also, it talks about the feedbacks, assessment, and the relevance of emerging technologies for testing and teaching and learning. One of the also on the level of DigiComp Edu, probably at the same time and a little bit parallel, UNESCO created their ICT competency framework, also covering 6 areas. You could see there is a little bit difference because UNESCO working on a worldwide level and also supporting ministry, so working also on a policy level. So there are some competencies on a policy level, understanding, but there are competencies which go towards creating and using new curriculum and using technologies for creating or implement new curriculum, then develop skills in the area of administration, in application, and of course, use of different kind of technology for professional development, just like we are using today. The latest development in the DigiComp framework, so this is a framework created in the area of European Union, DigiComp 2.2 published set of different examples, which also covers the area of emerging technologies, also AI competencies. The DigiComp is not created just having in mind education, it is for a general audience, for general competencies. So I took here some bits and pieces of it which we could reflect, which we are using in education area. If you want to see it and read it, there are a whole appendix of 73 examples which could be used for further development or your students' competences. So some of the examples which DigiComp 2.2 mentions are in the area of information and data literacy, so weighting between benefits and disadvantages of using AI tools or AI engines, and of course the recognition of reinforcement of possible already existing discrimination, disinformation, and echo chambers. So we hear only things we would like to hear, and this is real issue with the technology. Then in the area of communication and collaboration, so recognize, are you talking with a real human on the other side, or you are talking with the AI machine? We are aware of deep fake videos, which are part of online meetings, just like we have. But that person who collaborate with you, exchange some sentences and ideas was completely fake. It was created from some scratch. It was AI generated video, AI generated voices, and it's very hard and very complicated to recognize is it real person on the other side. Also, having in mind that our minors are in very challenging position and maybe they are not really aware who they are speaking with and why. Continuing on those examples, but mirroring on DigiComp Edu area. So in the content creation, having in mind ethics when we create some of such resources or using automatically created resources by the AI, please, wherever you use AI tools to create something, read thoroughly and be sure that you could back up whatever that content is saying. Then talking about the safety, so consider impact of the AI technologies, not only on our personal life, but also on our whole environment. We are aware that AI machines need a huge amount of energy. Where is that energy coming out? Also, impact on the job market, on the privacy and rights. So have that things also in mind. Regarding the problem-solving area, so we have to be aware that AI is product of human intelligence, and it reflects the decision-making and the algorithms they creator of it put into it, build into it, into those models. So me coming from Croatia, which is a small country with a small language, are very significantly aware that current AI models are 99% based on an English language, which means it doesn't recognize, for example, Croatian traditions, Croatian vocabulary. It does translate wonderfully. I like AI tools for the translations, but having in mind that we are as a minority, as many other languages on the earth, are in such a discriminated position by the AI. Oops, second. I was one of the author of the ethical guidelines on the use of artificial intelligence and data in teaching and learning, which was created actually prior to the boom of the ChatGPT. But I highly recommend you to read the ethical guidelines because it is quite relevant. It does also, besides the question and leading you toward thinking about why are you using some tool, what are the benefits, what are the challenges, what will you succeed by using such a tool. It also has a set which talk about the teacher's competencies. So here are some examples. So having in mind personal differences among our students, when we talk about the adaptivity, are we sure that we are adequately supporting our students, not limiting their learning? Because when we are in a real classroom, we know that the community, that the peers could support learning process and push colleagues further on. This is the one of the competencies, one of the options that AI system doesn't have very adequately. So we might be supporting some of the students excellently, but maybe we are limiting some of them. Also understanding learning analytics, ethics, so the conclusions, which are we making on the base of the set of data, and or maybe AI is making such decisions and conclusions instead of us. One of the example, which is from my European perspective on the other side of the world, but Australian Ministries of Education made a huge steps during last and this year, and creating the framework which focus specifically on generative artificial intelligence. I would say that right now generative AI is the most present in our everyday. So the creation of vast amount of the text, of the videos, of the pictures, and other resources. This is the main tool right now, but it doesn't mean it will stay that way. So the Australian framework quite similarly cover teaching and learning. So enhancing both processes with the use of AI tools, having in mind well-being benefits of the society. Sometimes AI is very helpful, but sometimes it will exaggerate and cause mental health issues as well. Fairness, please don't make digital gap even wider, even bigger with the use of AI tools. I mentioned languages, but also poor areas, having poor infrastructure. This is also the things we inherited from the digital gap and probably will be making even bigger with the AI tools. Accountability is one of the things I usually ask my fellow teachers. If you're using AI tools for feedback, for the assessment, for the grading, who is standing behind that grade? Of course, it is you. You can't say to the students or can't say to the parents, I'm sorry, I have nothing to do with this. Computer decided that way. Sorry. No, definitely. You are responsible. You are accountable. So if you're using such tools for that purpose, be aware of it and decide an argument what to do. Of course, protection of a student's data. This is the first level because without correct roles, correct procedures of protection of data of the minors, we are not using any tool in education. One step a bit further on or outside the education area, OECD Employment Outlook. Actually, through the research, they find out that, of course, we will need a specialized AI skills to develop and maintain AI system. But those skills will partially be developed through other subject in our learning process in the schools or at the university. So data analytics, creative problem solving, social and management skills. You see, those skills are not only connected with the AI area. Some of them are very special. But what they put into focus in that research is that most of us will just use and interact with the AI applications. And for that, we need some basic elementary knowledge about the AI technology, but we need significant competencies in analysis, in problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, communication, and teamwork. In several articles I followed this year, creativity is put on a high, very high level because human creativity is something we need. It could be supported. It could be supported with the AI, but after all, this is our mind and our intelligence that would make a step outside of the box. You know, AI is trained on existing data sets, on the existing knowledge. Our job is to make a step further on. This part I would like to finish with one of the framework which is currently in the progress. It was drafted, it was presented first last year during Digital Week in Paris at UNESCO conferences. I had opportunity to work with the UNESCO on this framework for teachers. Currently, it's in development. You could see several drafts going on, maybe on a LinkedIn if you're following Feng Shui Miao. But what we do expect is that this framework will be presented during the September in UNESCO in Paris in conferences. For that framework, they are parallelly creating framework for teachers and for the students. So they decided to go with 5 areas. You could see the first 2 areas are putting humans, putting teachers, putting learners in the center, give them agency in this artificial intelligence boom and product. Ethics, please think before you use. Then we talk about some AI skills, technical skills, foundations, and then, of course, pedagogy, because we in schools, our job is to support learning. So which pedagogical approach, which method, which resources we will be using and how we could support that with the AI. And as I mentioned earlier, and it is a part of UNESCO ICT framework, it's how to use artificial intelligence for professional development. Here's a brief overview. What is a plan for that framework? So 5 aspects developed through 3 progress steps, progress levels. So acquire, deep, and create. What the message UNESCO is sending, we would like all of teachers at least to be on acquire level, some of them progressing to deep and to create level. And it is not meant just for a computer science teacher or informatics teachers, it's meant for all the teachers, for all of us. Never mind where we are working and in which level of education. So, based on this framework, now I will try to lead you through three areas and would invite you to also make a brief self-assessment of your competencies in this area. So I will invite you to that beside this Zoom window we are using right now, you will need a browser window. So Chrome, Edge, whatever browser you are using to open the Menti and give me some feedback. So the overview of this framework, I hope you notice, as I am, the move from the technical part, technical skills, which we usually have in ICT frameworks, towards significant part on the ethics. I would say, or one of the explanations for that could be that previous digital technology was not such disturbance, was not such interfering with our teaching and learning processes, not as much as AI is. So when we talk about the AI competencies, first level is ethics, meaningful use, then we talk about the technical competencies. Just brief notice on the European Commission AI Act, significantly talking about the AI literacy and what they meant under the AI literacy. And we are expecting to see some further developments and further support to developments of the AI literacy for the students, for the teachers in years to come. So I'm pointing out first to the ethics and humanity. So individual capability to evolve into proficient member of society. So AI is supporting us in that process. Fairness. So use the tools to create opportunities to equal access. So inclusion, non-discrimination, fair distribution. Prioritize people, identity, integrity, dignity, meaningful educational interactions. I know we are all using or thinking, I hope so, that we are not using digital technologies just for the sake of technology. So the similar thing with the AI. Please don't use AI for the sake of the AI. Use it to support learning process. Use it to support creation, to support teaching process, to support your professional development. Technology is not the answer for the education. Technology is just the tool for the education. Justified choice. So whenever somebody asks you, why are you using this tool? You have to have some meaningful answer why. Not just, oh, it's lovely, it's colorful, it's fun. Okay, I will continue talk about these examples, but now I'm inviting you to open the browser and go to the page menti.com. The code you have to enter is 6909370. I will copy it in the chat if I don't get lost. In meantime, let's see where the chat is. Okay. Meeting here. Probably I put it on a wrong place. Apologize. Thank you for the support. So you will probably see something like this. I hope it's working for you. You will see the scales. I just took 6 of the examples, and I'm inviting you to decide where from 0 to 5 you assess your competences in this area. Okay, things is happening on. I'm back to my slide. So examples when we talk about the ethical aspect. So Are you promoting and recommending ethics as a core pillar? Do you know, or could you explain some of the principles? Are you actively contributing? So when you see some error, when you see some challenges, do you go back to the developers, do you go back to the public, to the authority, saying, yeah, this is not working good, this is interfering with the learning process? Or maybe you have even higher role, more active role as a co-designer of such a tools. Reporting, so don't take everything granted. Be active. Do you recognize high-risk cases? AI Act, which is established in European Union, exams put in a high risk level. Also, the AI tools which could lead to the decision of a further education of students or decision about the job application is put in a high risk. Are you advocate like, for a meaningful, for ethical use of the AI tools? I will just go through the questions and at the end go back to your self-assessment. So the third area is digital pedagogy. If I'm right, you could move to the next slide. And yeah, you could do it by yourself. Great. So the area of digital technology is being able to answer why would you like to use this particular technology? Is this the best way? Because sometimes for the learning process, pen and paper, glue and a scissor are the best way. And sometimes we need a all range of technologies from interactive whiteboard, scissors, AI support to achieve learning outcomes. Then how are we going to use it? And will it be appropriate for our students? Some tools are great for higher education students, but not that good for 10-year-olds. Which tool is appropriate for 10-year-olds? Equitable use. And of course, do we have necessary legal requirements to use such tools? So here are a few examples on the same Menti where you could assess your skill. So could you explain pedagogical assumptions of that AI system you are using it? Are you using responsibly to enhance, to support teaching and to support differentiation? Did you plan to organize some discussion, some debriefing, some observation with the colleagues or with the students to hear what they think about the use of that tool, how they see implementation of that tool in your teaching processes? So have that in mind as well. Let me jump and see something is going on. Yes, okay, lovely. And for the third set, you will have another Menti because I'm using free version. So I'm putting another code in the chat as well. So the third area I would like to lead you towards is AI fundamentals. So the technical part. You see my intention, I'm putting it at the last. Not that it's not necessary, it is necessary, but we have much significant questions to solve even before that. So, learning analytics. You know that statistic is the background of all the AI tools, and statistics highly depend on the data set we are using in data visualization, but we all have to be fluent in using that statistical vocabulary and understanding it. You know, that single change in the visualization could lead you to complete different conclusion. And when we are talking about students and education, it could have significant consequences. So, have you demonstrated good knowledge and good practices of protection of data? Did you ask questions or look into the information about algorithms and how automatic decision making is doing? I usually ask my fellow teachers is, oh, you're all using Kahoot. Do you know how algorithm in Kahoot is working on to decide who is the winner? How is they're awarding points to the speed of the answering, correcting of the answering. And everybody says, no, I don't know. But yes, this is the thing we should inquire in. Researching about the tools, asking developers, asking authorities how their model is developed, could we change it, and what is still unpredictable in the use of AI, and why we always need a human in the loop. Okay, so let's see what have you said. Okay, good. So when I was talking about ethical aspects, we are somehow in the middle, I would say. Not that bad, 3.1, 2.7, 3.6. Okay, I'm so happy to see that you are working on promoting and recommending ethics, explaining things, advocating. I see that we are a little bit less efficient or less competent in the area of active contribution on the improvement of AI system. But please take that step, take that role as well. You know, nobody will do that instead of us, teachers. When we talk about the digital pedagogy, yeah, a little bit higher competences. I'm proud of you. So, responsibly using AI tools, that's the biggest one. This is excellent. This is the bottom competencies all of you need. We are still not sure how we are going to explain pedagogical assumptions, but yeah, we will learn that as well. We are good in critically assessing AI's role in the teaching. We are somehow discussing methods and criteria with the colleagues, and we are working towards debriefing and observation with the colleagues. I see area for improvement as well. And the third one was about technical aspects. So we are not quite engaged in the development of it. We could demonstrate the practice of protection of the data and personal information of our students and us, of course, discussing the presence and impacts, and recognizing various sources of bias. Yeah, various sources of bias, and bias is a big thing with the use of AI tools. It shows significant problem with those tools. Thank you for your quick self-assessing. It was very interesting to see how do you assess already right now your competencies. So for the next steps, I definitely see for you, yeah, this sounds like I'm looking at the crystal ball, but I definitely see that you will further develop in your professional development courses, uh, create and raise your skills and knowledge, which is needed for a successful AI integration. But of course, thinking about digital pedagogy and that, as you already did, put it ethics at the first place, will significantly work towards implementation of AI tools in your everyday practice. And for this final part of our presentation, I would like to share with you one of the handbook my Croatian team at the NGO Suradnici u učenju created last month together with our National Agency for Electronic Media and the UNICEF. This handbook is available only in Croatian, but we know AI tools are quite successful in translating, so you could at least grasp and use some of the parts. This handbook talk about the AI place in everyday life and in education, talks about ethical challenges, but have also two chapters, one about activities for students and activities for teachers. Today, I'm going to lead you through the chapter about activities for the teachers. So I'm inviting you to visit, oops, sorry, I'm clicking on different screens. to visit the Padlet. In this Padlet, I will show it to you in a second. So this is the Padlet. You will have this 5 activities, 5 topics of the activities I am going to mention. I'm inviting you to put under it, so clicking on a plus sign, your thinking about those questions. So how would you answer those questions, or which new questions are arising with your everyday practice? I see that you're asking for the link of the book, but for that, I will do it afterwards. I had to go into the slides. Okay, so when I'm talking about the creation of educational content and teaching, in the handbook, we put some examples to that, but we put this set of the questions for discussion. I emphasize the discussion because this is the some questions we can't answer on our own. We need to have a debriefing, having a reflection session with our colleagues, with our students. So, what do we say? How and to what extent should we or could we rely on the content we create by the AI? We have been using different AI tools already, maybe some of you for more than a year. What are the common mistakes you already noticed? I remember it was quite bad in doing mathematical tasks. We even had a discussion with AI tools back and forth, how what is 2 plus 2 and similar mathematical tasks and similar textual tasks for the mathematics. Okay, so we would like to create something with the AI. Is it worth our time? Are we going to spend days to create something which, with our prior knowledge and skills, we could just create in 1 hour without interference of the tool? So sometimes prompting back and forth is fun, but it takes time. So maybe it's not best return of the investment or your time. Also, maybe creating presentations, maybe creating questionnaires is good to be done with the AI tool. Share with me in the comments. I will just go through my slides and then get back to the panel. So what do you think about these questions? What are your answers? Or what are questions you already have for this area? And I will try to answer it later on. In the area of assessment and evaluation of students' work, so will you be honest and tell students that you are using the AI tool to assess, to give them feedback? What are the challenges of automatic evaluations? Does our students need our time for the reflection? I've read one of the comments on one of the blogs saying, yeah, automatic feedback is great. I get the feedback, the answer immediately, and it's ongoing. But I like when my teachers write a message to me. I know that she is appreciating my work. And this is another level of emotional connections. So how will you feel if you know that there is not Lidija on the other side assessing your work, but there is some AI tool? And of course, sensitivity of AI to different aspects of living and working. Support adaptation. So at the beginning, AI tools was highly marketing. Oh, this is a perfect tool to make different tasks. This is a perfect tool to adapt the content, the complexity level, the tasks to your students. But yeah, if you want a tool to perfectly adapt to specific student, then the tool have to know a lot about the students. Are we not breaking some rules? Let's see. Or maybe we are discriminating learners with special needs. So how to use that tools, how to make those tools that are fairly available and used fairly. And for the support of better teaching. So already there are tools that could give you feedback on your lesson plans. Tell you if you have enough activities, did you answer or address different level of complexity of did you cover the learning outcomes that are prescribed in the curriculum, and so on. There are even more disturbing tools that could monitor in real time teacher work in a classroom and then say, yeah, you use too many of such words, you work with these students and not with these students. So let's see, how are you familiar with it, or how are you happy with it? Will you be happy that your work in the classroom is monitored all the time, and that some AI tool, so not a human, that some AI tool make a decision and comments upon that? Some of these are really raising ethical challenges, but some of them could be really good tools when you're beginning teachers, when you're working with virtual classroom, trying some practices without harming the real students. So trying back and forth lesson plans, interactions, and giving the feedback that you can't actually receive for your practice. One last part, are we making us stupid with the use of the AI? Because you went through the university, you learned a lot about the teaching, you learned a lot how to support, how to activate, how to lead your students. And then you are not using it, you're just outsourcing all that to AI, relying the tool knows better than you, maybe, or maybe not. So which tasks would be better to outsource to the AI, in which task and which jobs we would like to have a support of the AI, and which we would definitely like to have for ourselves. There is one meme on the internet saying, yeah, that AI tools for creating art is not really answer I need. I would like to have AI tool to do the dishes, to do the laundry, and me creating an art. So this is the same question here for you. So let's see. Wow, the Padlet is full of the things. I'm so proud of you, and I'm so happy to have such interactions with you. Okay, using generative AI to design the resources, differentiation, but of course, double checking the contents, using some self-assessments with students for us, support adaptivity. Yeah, bureaucratic stuff could be solved by the AI. Looking forward, it's at the level of doing dishes and laundry. Magical black box, completely agree with you. We need to keep asking questions why and how that black box is doing the magic. Building AI competencies among teachers, creating authenticity, of course, and intellectual right questions. Automations, special needs supported by the AI. Yeah, good to using multiple choice questions, shorten the time, edit as necessary. Quizzes, yeah. And a twist to a story, yeah. Simple notes, time savior, code breaker. Feedback, acceptance among teachers, teachers' dilemma, using video tools, make a lesson plan. Excellent. You're such a wonderful participants and audience. So, to finish with this part and leave the time for your question, what I would like for you to bring back home from this webinar is have answers to why. Critically think which and why and where you will use AI to be helpful and needed. Then think about the how, and evaluate on agile way. So Is it appropriate? Is it safe? Is it meaningful? And keep reflecting and improving. We know that from teacher practice. I taught math for 26 years, and I would say that every next year I was better because I implement the knowledge I gained the previous year with the students, with the task, with the resources. So keep learning, keep improving. So AI is here. AI is here to stay, but just because we have that technology in our hand doesn't mean we should always use it and for any purposes. Thank you for this part of the listening. Jyoti, back to you, and I will stop sharing.
Thank you so much, Lidija. Now let's take some questions from our participants. So if you would like to speak up, please unmute yourself, and you can also raise your hand so that we can, call you to present your question in an order. I don't see any raised hands so far. Let me quickly go back to the chat box in case we have any questions there. And in the meantime, I have one question for you, Lidija. You were earlier focusing on, in one of your slides, you talked about pedagogy should come first before technology. So in the era of AI, what is the key component that teachers can really pay attention to make sure that they put pedagogy first? And I think we have two questions. So maybe we also take it from Benny and Niti, and then you can summarize like all three questions. Or do you like to go one by one?
Okay. No. Okay. Please, let me hear their
Okay,
comments,
thank you.
questions.
Benny, you first, and then Niti.
Thank you so much for the session. So my question is sort of related to what we are doing locally in New Zealand. What do you think of the issue of student data privacy in terms of assessing students in a more digital way? For example, taking video, taking audio alongside with other media from students.
Well, with that, you have a huge challenge with the recording and the publicly availability of the recordings. For the European Union, most of the such things are forbidden. So it's not allowed to do it. Well, you could assess students like we are in a virtual classroom and I'm talking with you. And for example, you are answering some of my questions. So yes, this is assessment, but I am not recording you. I'm not saving that recording anywhere or making accessible to anybody else. For such a things, you will have to have written consent from the parents and from the authorities to do it. So, but if we have, let's say, completely online school, maybe there are some cases, some examples where it is good to be used, but you have to follow the regulation because this could be a very, very slippery area regarding, well, in European Union, we have a GDPR and we are quite aware where are the tricks and what not to do. So even publishing the classroom photo on the website of the school is very challenging, in fact. And if you think of recording the student some task and asking the AI tool to assess that recording, my ethical inside will say, no, please don't do it. But who knows? We never know where these AI tools will lead us. Thank you, Benny, for your question.
Niti?
Yeah. So first of all, thank you so much for your wonderful presentation. Recently, we were doing a survey in our school. We wanted to include ChatGPT into our reading curriculum, and we wanted to take the opinion of parents and students and teachers about it for creating resources and differentiation and these kind of things. So when we had a discussion with the students, so students were like, oh, we would love to have ChatGPT. I love to use ChatGPT because it does not judge me. I can ask any question. So that was most of the students like, we are very free. We can ask anything. Whereas in front of the teachers, we have this thing that they sometimes judge us. They make comments about us. Then when we were speaking to the parents, then parents were like, see, when if you have to talk about us, we have already learned the skills. We have already learned the skills of writing summaries, writing creative writing, analyzing the text and all that. But the students are still learning these skills. Okay, so if you start using ChatGPT and AI, they might not learn these things and rely on AI for these things. So we got two different, very different kind of feedback from parents and students. And when it came to the teachers, when we asked them, they were in dilemma whether to listen to the student or to listen to the parents. So they are like, oh, you know what to do and that kind of thing. So what's your take on this? What do you advise in such cases?
It's so nice to hear the feedback from a research, and that you asked at least two sides what they think about it. I have no doubt the students like the ChatGPT or similar tools. I even realized that I think this day Google announced that they will finance further development of the assistants. So AI assistants, I think this will be the step in the future. But I would say I cautiously agree with the parents in this question, because all of us have to have basic skills of reading, writing, calculating, and we can't over-rely to the AI to do everything instead of us. Also, as you mentioned, we from a previous education have adequate knowledge that we could critically assess the content. Students could believe anything that AI tools serve to them. And there is another layer of the privacy protection, because if AI tool is using students' data, students' responses to further train the AI, then this could be very significant breaking the loop. So I would say that our role in today and in future would be how to support students to develop a sufficient level of a critical thinking, of a problem solving, that they could use the AI tools, but be aware how to use it smart and wisely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Niti. And back to Jyoti's question about digital pedagogy, I would say this haven't changed by the AI. This is the same dilemma we had from use of digital technology beforehand. Don't use technologies just for technology's sake. Be able to answer why is good for you, why is good for your students. This is, I would say, the basic answer. Technology impact of education is significant, but we are those who are either promoting, either supporting, or using or blocking maybe the use of technology.
Thank you, Lidija. Thank you, Niti. So we have a couple of questions in the chat box. So let me take two of those, and then we'll go back to live questions again. So the order of the live questions will be by first Tito, Kavita, and Susanna. So right now from the chat, two of our participants, I'll combine these two. Alwin from Brunei, he wants to know, is there a current AI tool that meets the gold standard for use of AI? And Shimin Tan from the UK, she wants to know, I score low in developing AI tool. Should we learn how to develop it? If yes, where do we start? So perhaps you could respond to these chat questions, and then we'll
Yeah. Okay, there is no easy answer to AI tool. I could not recommend any tool and say, yeah, this is a perfect solution. Sorry, not yet. We are not yet. But what is good for us that we are already started discussing. We started to paying attention. If we asked that question a year ago, everybody was hypnotized with the possibilities, with what ChatGPT could do. Now we are not that embezzled anymore. This is not a Prince Charming answer. We start thinking about, yeah, maybe this is not quite good as it looks like. So not an easy answer to that. Should we create AI tools? With the development of different programming tools, we actually have an option to create something. Google had for many years lessons and the tools to create some simple machine learning tools. So if you would like to play with it, why not? It will give you some deeper information how these things work, and to realize their mathematical and statistical background of such a tools, not a wizarding background. But I don't think anybody is expecting teachers to become AI creators, but the AI creators teams must have teachers in their team if they are developing anything for education. I think this is definitely must to have.
Thank you. We have 5 minutes left, so please be precise when you ask questions. Tito first, Kavita, and Susanna. Go.
Okay, hello to all. My question is about the needs we have to, the work we must do about the choice of the tools we use with to use with AI. I think today with the problems we have with ChatGPT and with the other platforms, it's very important the choose of the use of the AI and the tools on the class, because the fact of the registration of the students on this or that one or on other one platforms, that kind of things make us thinking about the use and the problems we can have on the use of the platforms. I need to try everything before use and think. What do you think about that? It's very important to try before use, and we must implement the AI, the critical thinking on the students. I think that is an important part we need to have on the with the work with the students. What do you think about?
Thank you, Tito. Lydia, would you like to take 2 more and then summarize? You are on mute.
Yeah, take all the questions and then I answer.
Yeah, perfect. Kavita, please be short, and Susanna.
Yes. Good afternoon, ma'am. I just wanted to ask that in the classrooms also, when we are giving the high order thinking skills question to the students, they make use of ChatGPT and other AI tools and they write the answer. And just now you mentioned that every individual should have speaking, communicating, writing, and calculating skills. So as a teacher, what can be done to reduce the use of AI so that the students develop their critical thinking skills? And the second question was, can AI eliminate the work of teachers in the future? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kavita and Susanna.
I've got a question, and my question relates to walled garden tools. Australia has developed a wall garden tool, which is a tool for educational setting with additional guardrails, and ISTE is also trialing Stretch AI. I'm really interested to hear your opinion, if that could be a first good step into engaging teachers and students to learn about AI literacy.
Thank you, Lydia.
Thank you all. Regarding the choice of tool, yes, you have to try everything before using it with your students. Regarding that, the most of the tools doesn't follow GDPR and doesn't follow from European perspective different acts and regulations. First step, if you are going to use some tool, my colleagues usually say use those tools that doesn't require students registration. If it requires students registration, you have to be sure that they follow all the protocols prescribed by your country, by your public authority to follow it, and of course to protect yourself, because you are not allowed to put students in danger in such an area. And of course, having in mind that such a tools is meaningful and appropriate for use. It's not just a matter of law, it's a matter of usefulness for education as well. Regarding the critical thinking, I would say we could copy the examples from media literacy, serving some false information to the students, serving them with the stories, with the results coming from AI tools, which we know is not correct, but it's not obviously false at the service, and lead students to find the errors, to back the story with different sources of information, and by that teach them, sorry, you believed in something without thinking. This is not a good approach. So lead with your examples, and of course doing it on every day. Regarding the teacher job, I would say yes, AI will take our job if we allow it. It's upon us. That's what my final slide was saying. If we are outsourcing all of our smart tasks to the AI, then why we are needed? Then the AI will do everything instead of us. So use your human agency, use your teacher agency to ensure education is still a human job, because we know we thrive in a human-to-human interaction, not just working and seeing computers on the other side of the world. Regarding the Susanna's question, I'm sorry, I'm not very familiar with the practices in New Zealand and Australia. Let's say I assume that walled garden tools is something happening in a sandbox. Yeah, okay. So restricting the use, restricting the interference from the outside. This is a perfect way to do it. I know that some Nordic countries are doing similar things with the sandbox. So ensuring safe environment where students and teachers could interact with the tools, learn something, try something, make an errors, make a mistake, but nothing significantly will do the harm because they are in a restricted and safe area. Thank you for sharing that example, Susanna.
Thank you, Lidija. We are running over time. However, I think you are asking such important questions. If it's okay with you, let's try to close this session in a couple of minutes. I'm going to close the question and answer session with 2 more questions from the chat, because these 2 questions have been recurring in our past projects as well. So one of them is about teachers struggling to deal with students cheating with the help of AI tools from Baklan. Should teachers punish students who are cheating with AI tools? And the other one is from Cynthia about, should a school have internal rules for both teachers and students that they need to adopt for the use of AI tools?
Regarding the cheating, I must say I was very annoyed when ChatGPT faced the world and everybody was talking just about the cheating. I was like, sorry, but this is not happening because that AI tools. We face the cheating with the papers, with the little things pasted on under the tables or written on the hands. This is matter of our human agency and our interactions. So forbidding the tool won't stop the cheating. We stop the cheating practices with human interference, with human acknowledgement and the lead. Recognizing if students cheated by the AI is quite slippery and difficult right now. I would say you have to be cautious if you're doing that, because AI tools are good, our students are also good. Some of the simple practices as using the proofreading tools in a text software could lead to recognition as this is AI manufactured text, so be careful. I would, and I always did as a teacher, face the cheating way with talking, with resonating, with putting significance. What are you going with that later on? You may fool me, but what you're going next year? What are you going when you go on the work? And maybe sometimes using the tool really is not the cheating. Sorry, Jyoti, I forgot the last question. It was about
It was about whether schools should adopt internal rules
Yeah,
for
okay,
both
okay,
teachers and staff.
yes. We had similar approach with the digital technology. So either you follow the rule which forbid some practices, or you follow the set of the rules which promote some practices. I would like that better use of technology or better use of AI. So promoting better use of different tools in the classroom, in the school. But yes, either is coming from a national level, from a country level, or coming from public authorities or from the school. I would say that some policy would help also for students, for teachers, and for parents as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Lidija, for a brilliant session with such timely, relevant insights on the foundations and frameworks and competencies for teachers to teach better in the era of artificial intelligence. And also to our participants, thank you so much for actively interacting with our speakers and also for actively asking questions and critically reflecting on the content shared as well. So thank you again, Lidija. With that, let me quickly recap the past two sessions, today's one and the first one, because today we close the segment on learning about AI. So from the first session, you have learned about the key concepts, different types of AI tools, threats and opportunities, and key trends as well. And our key takeaway from that is that for the deployment of AI in education, it has to be ethical, and teachers need to be aware of the potential risk as well. And of course, AI technology, they must be carefully managed to prevent any inequalities, to ensure that use is responsible, effective, and fair. Similar insights and takeaways from today's session as well. Lidija has already kindly summarized the key takeaways. Thank you so much. Just to add to that, I think one of the key things, as you have already highlighted, pedagogy before technology. And of course, teachers need to be really aware about issues such, for example, data privacy, accountability, social connection issues, over-reliance on AI. So the competencies and awareness is really crucial. And of course, ongoing professional development like this one is crucial to use AI tools responsibly and effectively. So we really admire your commitment to invest time and energy to learn about AI in education. With that, so during next session, we will hear from some education technology designer and expert. So we will get familiar with AI tools. So we will start the segment on learning with AI. So hopefully when you learn about learning with AI and get familiar with the tool, you'll remember what you have learned from these two sessions. And with that, thank you so much and have a lovely evening in Asia and a very lovely day in Europe. Thank you.